Okay, hopefully you guys can hear me good. I'm on the moderator line, and in fact, if you can hear me okay, why don't you go ahead and in the little webinar app, go ahead and hit the Q&A button and say, yeah, I can hear you fine, or type me a chat message or something. We got lots of, there we go, got chat people. Everybody says sounds okay. Awesome. All right, guys, well, we're going to go over some brand new stuff tonight. And it's going to be based on things that Peggy and I have been doing and learning over the last year. And the first thing I'm going to do is really, this is not going to be a business-specific call at all. This is going to be a call that's really going to be giving you some training on really overall building your brand and what happens when you get to the point when you talk to your friends and your family and you really want to go out there and figure out how to get people to call you. And so what we're going to be doing is kind of going through that, and I want to tell you guys up front that this is not going to be for everybody. This is going to be, but everyone's going to, I guarantee all you're going to learn stuff and enjoy what you learn, and it's going to be applicable no matter in many different areas of your life and in your business, which is great. But when you look at the, at the end of the process, you're going to look at that and say, hey, this sounds great, or you're going to say, no, that sounds like a lot of work. So that's going to be good. But what we're going to do is we're going to talk tonight through it, and we will record it and do it. But I want to kind of spend some time talking about finding your niche and building your online brand. And, of course, I say niche. I know some of you Yankees and people from France probably say niche, but I'm going to say niche. And I want to talk first about why you need a niche. And really, the reason, there's several reasons for this, but when you're starting in your business, and it doesn't matter what type of business you know, and you go to the people that you know, you've got a connection there, and they know you, and so they've got a compelling reason to buy from you. They already like and trust you. But when you want to move beyond that initial group, and this really depends on if you're moving to Facebook, online, no matter how you're doing, when you're wanting to communicate with people that you don't know, you have to specialize, and the reason you have to do that is that there's way too much there's too much noise out there on the internet and too much out there for people to be able to find you if you're not very, very specialized. Another reason that you need to have a niche is because you are going to need to be a go-to person and an expert in your niche. And to do that, you got to be specific as well. But also you're going to find out this is something that's going to help you not just with your online, but it's going to help you with your offline efforts as well. Because your niche is really something that you are passionate about, that you want to spend a lot of time on, and you're going to find out that your stories and things around that is going to attract people to you in the regular areas of your business as well. So you got to get very, very special, and a lot more special than you want, than you think you need to be. So, if your specialty you think is going to be, nutrition, and then you think it's going to be nutrition for moms, and then it's going to have to be really, really much more specific than that, because what you want to do is you're going to want to, so when someone sits down and types in a keyword in Google, you're going to want them to find you, and to do that, you're going to need to be pretty particular. So let's take a look at, talk about how to find the right niche. Now, what you're going to want to do is, and this kind of reminds me of a book I read, Good to Great, by Jim Collins years ago. It was a business book, fantastic book, and it was about when companies, the great companies that do what they have in common, and they had a core concept that was the intersection of these three circles, and your niche is going to be three things. First of all, you're going to want to make a list of everything that you're passionate about, things that you really love doing, and this should be things that you do, without having to be paid for. So these should be your hobbies, the things where you spend your time with, the things that you do if you could do nothing else. What are the things that really kind of light you up? And then your skills, these are the list of all things that you are good at or that you can be good at. So these are normally the things in your life that you've been paid for and work or skills you've got. And then the final intersection is what's going to deliver value. What will people pay for? And so what you're going to do with the first exercises in finding your niche is going to be figuring out what the intersection of these three circles are, because that's where you're going to want to really spend the time and develop it. And we're going to go into a couple examples of this in a minute. And, of course, by far the most important one is passion, the thing that you're passionate about. And the reason for that is that for you to become an expert and an authority, you're going to need to really learn and read and do a lot of things inside of your niche. And when you do that, you're going to end up, since you're going to spend a lot of time in it, if it's something that you don't like, you're not going to want to spend time in it. And so this is really about doing something that you really, really love doing, and then, setting yourself up to win in that fashion. We heard Joe come on the line at the beginning of the call, and Joe's just written a children's book, and we're looking for ways to promote. What we're going to be teaching tonight is going to be really good to do that, but what he's going to need to think about is, kids don't buy kids' books, parents do, and then he needs to think, well, parents buy them, but grandparents buy them, and then, school teachers buy them. He's going to have to get very clear about who the audience he wants to attract, and then when he gets real clear on that, he's going to be able to know how to go through them and do it. So let me give you a quick example of finding a niche. Let's suppose that, when you were listing out things that you love doing, your first thing was fishing. That's the big thing you're passionate about. And maybe you like to travel. That's something else you like. Maybe you like to read. Maybe you like to write. And so you make a big list of the 10 things that you really are passionate about. And then you draw a line on the page and you make another list of the skills that you have. And so maybe your job is you're a project manager in a big software company. You manage the big projects, and maybe the only thing that you really enjoy doing there every year is they let you help. You get to help plan the corporate event, where they go off site, and you get to travel down to Orlando and do that, and that's what you really love doing. So you got some skills. You're also pretty good at fishing, but of course you can't get paid to fish, But anyway, that's kind of your skills. And so when you take a look at that and you look at the things, what you start thinking about is, all right, what would be my niche and what would be my thing? And so you love to fish and you love to travel. Well, there's probably a dozen network marketing companies out there that are focused on travel. And what they all do is say, hey, sign up for us. You'll get your travel website. Just get your friends to give you, call you up and go to your website and book their travel, and that way you get paid every time they travel. It couldn't be easier. And, of course, your friends don't do that. They go to Expedia when they get ready to travel. Well, if on the other hand, if you really had defined your niche and the guy says, I really want to help people plan awesome fishing vacations, well, then what he would do is, is a couple times a year on his vacation, he would actually, go somewhere exotic. He would plan the trip. He would figure out the right guides to talk to. He would figure out what time of the day. He would document the charters that went out. He would figure out what the bed and breakfast was. And then every one of these things, you would write down and blog, this is a perfect trip. And you would plan out the trip. And then you would describe exactly what you did. And you would put that on the Internet. And at the same time, you might only could take 2 trips a year, but you might plan 4 other trips as well just by doing the research. Now, what's going to happen is, let's say you've done a really good job of creating a community around this. Well, when a businessman decides that he wants to go on a great fishing vacation in the Bahamas, and he types in fishing vacation Bahamas, he's going to come up with your article, and he's going to see about this awesome trip that you had when you're in the Bahamas and where you went and that you knew all the guides and the right breakfasts and how much fish you caught and they cleaned your feet. And he's going to be excited about it. And when you go on there, call me and I can help you plan this trip. Well, guess what? He's not going to call Expedia, because you have exactly what he wants for him, and that's really kind of a good way to think about your niche. Now, also, that leads into your avatar, and, of course, your avatar isn't talking about the James Cameron avatar. This is talking about your very perfect customer. You need to be really, really clear on exactly who your customer is, what their biggest problems are, and how you can help them. And so in that fishing example, your customer, you might say, well, I'm looking for businessmen who like to fish. Well, that's not going to be specific enough. You really need to know something. You need to get down there and say, well, look, my perfect customer is a guy. He's 40. He's in his 40s and 50. He works 80 hours a week on his job. His wife, hates the cold weather, but she loves the beaches, and he's got 3 kids, and he wants to go on one great fishing vacation a year, but he wants to take his wife with him, and she wants to live on the beach. So you need to know exactly who he is and how to describe him, because that way you can really help them create solutions. Because really, when you think about what they want, they're wanting solutions to their problems. And if you think about us, anytime any of you sit down on Google, I can guarantee what you're doing is you have a problem and you're looking for an answer. When you type hotels, Boston hotels, you're saying, I want to know where I can go in Boston, the best hotel for the price. I mean, you have a problem and you're looking for a solution to that. So the fact is that your avatar, he really can't wait for you to get your business started, because what you're going to provide him with is exactly the thing that's going to help him solve that pain point and fill the void. And so that's really, getting clear on that is important for more than just that. You also got to be, as I mentioned a moment ago, really, really specific. One of the reasons for this is as you start building your online brand, you're going to have a whole lot of questions that come up. And as these questions come up, if you know your avatar, that's going to really become your true north and help you answer the questions. So when you're trying to think about, what type of content should I create? Should I be creating videos, audios, just typing text? Should I be working on Facebook or LinkedIn or YouTube? A lot of that's going to matter, because if they're younger people, you may be working on YouTube versus Facebook or LinkedIn. You may be doing videos versus text. So once you know your customer, you're going to know. If you got a customer base that's wanting daily tips, you may want to email them every day. If you're doing fishing vacations, you're really not going to want to send that businessman an email every day. So it's very important for you to know exactly who your customer is. Now, another reason you need to know them is once you know who they are, you need to go find them. And this is kind of one of the easy parts, because what you can do is no matter what your niche is, you're going to be able to find them, and there's groups out there in forums and communities, and you're going to find them in Facebook and LinkedIn and Google+. In fact, you can just type in whatever your particular niche is, and you'll be able to find it on Google and find forums and stuff. And the good thing about this is that what's happening with the work that you do today, someone else is going to do tomorrow. I mean, I think one of the examples is, let's suppose that you just had discovered that your child had childhood about diabetes. The first thing you're going to do when you come home from the doctor's office is you're going to start researching it, and you're going to start learning it and learning everything about it. And as you do that, you're going to really figure out, what's the best equipment, what's the best diet, and those types of things. Well, what you're going to do is that you're going to be finding and hanging out in the groups that are giving answers to those questions. And so what you want to do is, if that was your niche, then what you want to do is you would want to be in that group, and then when because guess what's going to happen? Tomorrow someone else is going to go to the doctor, and they're going to find out their kid is going to have questions. And when they come to the forum that answers those questions, and they start asking about it, and they see your articles, and you get on there, interact with them, answer with them, they're going to see you as an authority. And so you want to find your people in meetups, you want to find them in your networking events. And then once you find them, you want to interact with them. You want to really figure out, what are they struggling with? What are their dreams? What don't they like about their current situation? Because really their pain points is what they're looking to you to help solve. And by you helping them determine what that pain point is, they're going to really be looking to you for the answers, and that's going to give you credibility. Now, really, so if you want to, once you interact with them, what you really need to do then in your niche is become an authority and become an expert. Because what you need to be is you need to be known as the go-to person that really has all the answers. And, of course, if you've been creating content, you're going to actually be able to dominate pretty much any market you want if you've done this. And I found so many great examples of this. In fact, there was a guy that is really big right now. He's making millions and millions of dollars, and he started out with nothing but a carpet cleaning business. And what he ended up doing was he ended up just really writing blogs about how to get this stain out of the carpet, how to clean this carpet, how to do this, and he constantly did that. And of course, when people got ready to clean their carpets, they would Google, cleaning carpets. A couple other guys' ads came up, but the whole front page of the Google had all these articles that he had written. And of course, everyone wanted to start using him, and he totally dominated his city. Well, what he did then is he figured out, people aren't going to call me from Boston to get my carpets cleaned in Jacksonville. How can I take it? Well, he ended up deciding that he was going to take and teach other people in other cities how to do what he did so they could dominate their markets. Because, and that way he started doing the training on it and just made millions of doing it just by blogging. Another guy's been doing the same thing, he started a generator business, and he started telling people, here's the type of generator you have for your house. Because you know what, people, when they want to buy a generator, they're going to research that, and when they find your name and your information, you're going to become an authority. Now, I want to spend a moment here because this is going to be the place where most of you guys, if you're kind of got a little voice in your head, there's going to be something here that's saying, well, this sounds cool, but this really isn't for me. I couldn't do this. and there may be something holding you back. Normally, once people get where they do not want to branch and take under a project this, they may think, well, nobody's going to listen to me, or I really don't know what to talk about. They may think, I'm really not an expert on anything. How can I be an expert go-to when I don't know anything? I just don't know exactly what I need to do. I don't know anything about, Facebook. I don't know anything about LinkedIn. I don't know anything about social media. I don't know anything about blogging, whatever. You're going to have something you fill in the blank with that you're going to say, I don't have the money. You're going to say, if I would have started this 6 years ago, or if I would have done it 10 years ago when Google first started pay-per-click, then I could have done it. So all these things, these are just reasons. They're not their excuses. They're not really reasons. And what's important for you is to know that all these things can go away if you just get started. One of the major things you can't do is you can't be a perfectionist. People that are perfectionists, they're going to want to study and study and study and study this and figure everything about, well, if you study it, you'll never get started because you constantly learn. This is a constantly learning thing. What you do need to do is have a really clear vision of what do you want to be known for. I mean, if you really wanted to be the expert on something, the answer person for something, and really wanted to serve a niche, what would that be and who would you want to be known for? Because if you figure that out and have that vision, then you're going to be able to get over those issues I had on the previous page. Because really, when you want to become an expert and an authority, there's several ways to do that, but the very best way is going to be to create content with authority. And, of course, the way that you do that is to teach. And if you think about it, any time that you've been in any meetings from sitting in elementary school with the teacher in the front of the room, whoever is teaching, they've got authority. If you've been to one of the company conferences, the people that's on the stage teaching, they're the people that have authority. And so if you really want to become an authority, the way you do it is you teach other people. You teach what you've learned. And again, this is the part that will stop many of you because say, look, I don't know how to teach anything. Well, of course, you can't teach it without learning it. And the very best way to do that is blogging. Blogging is a phenomenal way to create content and teach and learn things as you go, do it, and then teach others. And the great thing about it is that what you learned with the blog, what you learned today, you can teach people tomorrow. Because, in fact, I constantly am doing that. I'll find out something that about how to use Google or something, and I do it. That's just cool. Well, all I got to do is go to my blog and type it in, of course, and everyone else can benefit from the things that I've learned. And you can do the exact same thing. In fact, if you will build and serve your niche, what you're going to and provide solutions to their problems, I mean, that's really what people want. You're going to be able to generate leads every day and have people calling you, asking you for advice on what to do versus you having to chase them. Now, the process that really you want to go through with this is what I like to call learn, do, teach. The last course I took on this subject, they did a ILT, invest, learn, and teach, I believe is what they did. But I like learn, do, teach. And what you're going to find out is that for every 1,000 people that do something, only one is going to teach it. And this is really a shame because, if you think about it, and we talked about the childhood diabetes a moment ago, there's an awful lot of people that is going to be in those shoes. They're going to learn everything they can about it when they do. But there's very few of them are going to turn around and share what they learn with other people so that they can take advantage and not have to go and learn everything all over again. And so the teaching is really where you're going to get the value. And the good thing about it is that you've already started this process. I mean, if you're on this call, you're learning. And when you apply what we're going to teach, you're going to be doing the final step. The hard part is the teach, which is the part that, is going to give me and you both the most concern because that's the part, if there's going to be one of the steps that you fall down on, it's going to be the teaching. But teaching is so important. And in fact, the notes that you take during the training, those are the things that you're going to need to teach others to learn the same skill, especially when you're related to whatever your niche is. Because when you're in your niche, you're going to be learning something that's of interest to your niche. Well, whatever you learn, the notes you take, just come back and put those notes on your blog. Now, if you don't do that, it's like having a check that you didn't cash, so you can be tearing them up because those notes and the things you learn, those are what you want to do. So, so when you think about it, when you find your niche and become an authority and you teach, what you're going to be able to do is you're really going to be able to stand out from your competition. And I'd like you to think about that because, especially when you're in like the health and wellness industry like we are, there's 1 million people out there also in the health and wellness industry all of them are competing with us for the customers. So you can't just expect someone's going to want vitamins and go search vitamins and pull your name up out of the Google and call you. So you really got to stand out from your competition, and, of course, this is a process to do that. And when you do this, you're really never going to run out of people to talk to, because what you're going to do is you're going to have a whole community around your niche. And I guarantee you, if you've been the person that's been advising them on this is the equipment that you need to get for your child that's got diabetes, this is the very best insulin pump, this is how, if you want it, this is the question that you need to ask your doctor when you go, these things. If you've been talking about that, they're going to give a lot more credibility to you when you tell them what vitamins they need to take than they are Joe Blow off the street. So you're not going to run out of people to talk to, and you're really never going to have to beg somebody to come look at your opportunity, because they're going to just call you. And, of course, that's really what we want. Now, what I want to talk about next is basically what's a blog, why you need one, and whether you want to do it or not. And one of the things I want to let you know about this is that this is one of those things that, there's really going to be a couple of different ways you can address this. A, you cannot have a blog at all, and you can continue to build with Facebook, LinkedIn, that kind of stuff. B, you can have a blog and let that be the center of your advertising, but not really spend a lot of time on it and not create a lot of content. You can do that, and that's still much better than not having one, and you'll see why in a minute. Or you can go through the process we're going to teach you about and actually actively build it, and it can make a huge difference. One of the things that surprised us, when Peggy and I started a blog this year, I told her it was going to really take us 3 or 4 months before we would start getting traffic from Google. And so we were prepared to do that and do things. Well, we were surprised within 3 days of when we started putting the blog up, we started getting traffic from Google. In fact, within a week, we had a couple of keywords that we were on the front page for. And that was totally a surprise to us, because we were advertising in a huge market, a huge niche. We were basically going against keywords that had thousands and thousands of people out there. But again, we were able, because we do the right structure and how to write the right content, it really paid off very, very quickly. So basically, if you want to know what a blog is, if you look at a dictionary, it's going to say it's a regularly updated website, typically run by an individual or small group. It's very informal, conversational style. And that's really what it is. It's just a website. And the reasons you need to have a blog is that it's going to become the hub of your marketing activity. Because what you're going to do is, whenever you're building your community, you're going to post on Facebook, and you're going to update your LinkedIn. You may make some YouTube videos. You may tweet on Twitter, pin some things on Pinterest. There's all these different social media sites and channels. But the hub, the blog, is really going to be the one that every one of those channels that you point back to. And this is going to work much, much better than trying to send people to your replicated website, because you don't really have any control over that. But your blog, you own it, and you can control it. So think about it. When you put something on Facebook, in 2 or 3 days, it's scrolled off, and you're never going to be able to find it again. When you put something on your blog, the blog we wrote the very first day when we created our blog, today people still search for it, find it, and it brings people to our site and makes our phone ring. And so when you put something on your blog, you can absolutely control everything, and so you really want to do that. It's also the place where you're going to generate your leads at, and we're going to talk more about that in a moment. But this is really what you're going to do is you want people to come to your website or your blog, and for them to leave you their email address and their phone number and their information, and it's going to have a place that. And also, Google is going to index everything on the blog. Everything that you write is going to be indexed and searched and be available for everyone in the world. And so there's ways to make that work better than others, and we'll talk about that. The thing about it is that whatever you put out there, it's available to everyone, and you'll be surprised at what people are able to find. We had a guy from Russia get online and register for webinar night because it was on the blog. Also, it never goes away what you post, and what I like the most about it is it's an asset that's going to continue to increase in value. So every time you put another blog entry in it, it's going to be worth more and more and more and help you build your brand. And, of course, anybody can do it. It's very easy to create and maintain. Now, let's talk just for a moment about the content and the kind of things you put on your blog. Back in 1996, Bill Gates said content is king, and he was talking when the Internet first came out, how much important content is. And it's funny because today it's even more relevant than ever before, because what Google does is when someone comes to your site, Google wants to see how long do they stay on your web page. They track if they scroll down on your web page or not. They track, do they click and read more places to your site, or do they bounce right back to Google? They know people are wanting answers to questions, and they know that you've got to do that with good content, and you're going to be get better rankings if you're providing good content, and you're going to get worse rankings if you provide worse content. People used to just go out there and just try to get links and links and links to their site, and that's how they ranked. Well, nowadays that doesn't work so much anymore, because the site's also got to be relevant and really got to have good content that people like. And really what makes it great is it's got to be something that your niche is interested in. It's got to solve a problem, provide an answer, or educate. In fact, when Peggy and I were working on our blog, the thing we did, we said, all right, what are all the questions that people are going to ask when they find our website? And so what we did is on the very front page of our blog, we put answers to all the most common questions that we thought people would be coming to look for. Because we know if they came there and they were looking for this particular question, if we had an answer to them, they would read the answer and then they would look for. Now, as I said a moment ago, is that you can dominate any niche you want. All you've got to do is out-teach your competition. Now, this is something I want you to think about, because really this is not just talking about your home-based business. This is any business. So if your business was landscaping or plumbing, or air conditioning repair, or, you've got a restaurant locally, you can dominate any niche there is if you will out-teach with your competition and put more information in front of them. And, of course, the very best way to do that is going to be delivering quality content. But if you will teach more than your competition was, you're going to dominate, because, today when people make any buying decision, they research first, and the Internet is where they go to do that research. They're going to search on the Internet. They're going to look at social media, but they're going to look before they buy. And if you provided answers to their questions, you're going to be the one they're going to trust to help them out. Now, if you've decided that you do want to do blogging, what will your platform look like? Now, basically what you want to do is there's 4 elements to your blog platform. There basically is your website, which is the actual, the page that holds all your content. On top of that, you need to have something called a lead magnet. Now, what a lead magnet is this is when someone comes to your site, you want to offer them, hey, give me your email and I'll give you some information. Now, of course, you could just put that information on your site, but then you're not going to be able to collect them as a lead. And the most important thing you're doing on your site is going to be collecting leads. And so what you want to do is think about, in your niche, what's the problem that's keeping people awake at night? What is the information that they want answers to? And you want to be something they really can't find real easily themselves, because if they can't. So you want to have that. Once you've got a lead magnet, you're going to have your list, and that's really the place that's going to store all of your information, all your names and stuff that you generate. And then you're going to have your social tools, which is all your things to promote it, because once you build it on your website, you got to promote it. So let's talk about each of these layers a little bit, and maybe it'll make more sense. Your website, of course, is really going to be the home of your content. It's going to have a giveaway form, and that's going to be for them to opt in their name, and I'll give you this download. It needs to have a very clear message. One thing when I've been looking at blogs, a lot of blogs I go to, I have no idea what they're talking about, because they're talking about home business here, they're talking about opportunity here, they're talking about training here and travel, and then they're talking about what they did last week, and they got all kinds of information. People need to know right when they get there how to do it. It also needs to be very simple and easy to navigate. Now, what's cool is your blog doesn't have to be pretty. It doesn't have to look beautiful. I mean, it's got to be clean and have a clear, because Google doesn't care what it looks like when it comes and reads all the words in your blog. It's going to deliver you, but you do want it to look professional. It also needs to have the about page or a contact page so people know how to get a hold of you. The most important thing about your website, it needs to be designed for conversions. It needs to be set up so that when someone visits your site, you have an action with what your action is to befriend you on Facebook, whether you want them to give you a call on the phone, whether you want them to sign up for your mailing list. It needs to convert them, because really that's the most important part. Now, as far as the website, we recommend WordPress, and the reason we do that is the most popular blog platform in the world. Super easy to use. You don't need to know anything about HTML or any of the tech stuff. The search engines, Google, Yahoo, love it. It's 100% customizable. There's thousands of ways to make it look better. And the best thing about it, as soon as you install it, you can just start typing your blog. So super easy to use, and that would be the one we recommend. But there's others if you want to use Blogger.com, or you can use Drupal, many different technologies. Now, your lead magnet is I really want you guys to be thinking about this, because once you come up with your niche, your lead magnet is really what most people struggle with and spend the most time. But really, it's the most important part of your site. And you will be surprised how many blogs and websites go out there don't have a lead magnet at all. But really what it is, it's going to offer your avatar a quick solution in exchange for the email address. And it's going to say, look, if you want access to this checklist, so give me your email. Or, hey, I've got this three-step, I've got this magic bullet, I've got all these particular solutions. You're going to offer them. Normally you're going to offer them a video, a document, a download, and they're just going to put their email address in and get it. And this is the most important part of your site. It should be available on your side of your blog and the pop-up box, but it really needs to be everywhere. And we recommend lead pages or Thrive Leads. It's a good technology to do that. But really, it's the whole purpose of marketing is to generate a lead. And I wanted to think about this before I pop on to the next slide. Because, whenever you go sit down and watch a Super Bowl commercial and, you see one of the ads, whether it be from Budweiser or it be from Jaguar or whoever it's going to be, what they're looking for, the whole purpose of marketing is to create a lead. They're wanting someone to see that Jaguar commercial and decide to stop in to the Jaguar dealership the next day and look at them. And the purpose of your marketing, every bit of marketing that you do, whether it's on Facebook or LinkedIn or your blog, the purpose is to generate a lead. And so if you don't have a good lead magnet, the chances of you generating a lead and getting the money for your marketing is very low. So it's a super, super important part of your site. Now, the list, which is your email platform, this is really going to just, when someone opts in on your website, this is just where it's going to hold them. This is also what's going to build your capture form. And as you email your list of your followers, you're going to use your broadcast emails, do your newsletters, and it's going to let you know every time subscribes or unsubscribes. MailChimp is the one that I use. It's a free service. GetResponse is another good service. There's several out there. Any of them will work. What you want to do is you just want one that's not too expensive, that will go work for your leads and will grow. Because even though your list may start at 20 people, you're going to be growing your list to thousands of people, and so you want to have something that's going to be able to hold that. You're also going to want to have your fourth layer is going to be your social sharing tools. All you guys are familiar with these icons that pop up on the sides of these boxes and stuff to share this, tweet this, Google Plus this, pin this. Well, that's critical, because what you do when you create your content, it's not like Field of Dreams and you build it, they're going to come. If you build it, no one's going to know about it unless you tell them about it. And so you can't just build it. You got to promote it. And really, in the long run, you need to spend 20% of your time creating it and 80% of your time promoting it. And promoting it is going to be out there, posting it on Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn, and posting it in the Facebook groups and getting people to read it. Because bringing people in to look at it, that's what's going to grow your list. And, of course, the great thing about it is you want, as they read it, if they like it, they're going to share it. And that's really what makes things viral. You're really going to want to have these social sharing tools on every page, on every post, every article on your site, so that it's very, very easy for people to do that. And you also want to have a call to action so that your niche you're going to be one to say, hey, if you like this, share it. If you got value out of it, please comment. Because the more engagement you get on your post, the better it's going to rank, and the more people are going to see it. And we'll talk about some strategies to do that. Another thing you want to do is you're going to want to use a tribe. Now, all a tribe is when you first start your blog, the hardest share to get is the very first one, getting someone to share at all. And the great thing about a tribe is what you do is you get a group of people, and it can be 5 people or 10 or 3. It doesn't matter, but you just basically agree to share each other's content. Now, if you think about that, is if you push something on Facebook and you got 200 friends, then 200 people got the opportunity to see that. But if you got 5 people in your tribe that are all blogging, and each of you post each other's stuff, well, instead of 200 people seeing your post, you all of a sudden you got 1,000 people seeing it, and of course you got 800 people looking at it that normally don't get to see it. And so it's a great way to do that, to share, is to have a tribe to help you with it. Now, what I want to talk about now before we start the Q&A is, I want you to think, if there was a way for you to have somebody build and host everything you said so that you didn't have to do any of the technology. Because what I found out is there's 3 things that hold people back for doing this. Number one is they think, I don't know what to talk about. I don't want to know what to blog about. And I can guarantee you, after one session of training on creating content, you will never run out of ideas of what to write about again. And, of course, one of the great things about your niche is you're going to write about stuff that you love. Another thing is that, I don't know what to do. And another thing is the technology thing is keeps people afraid. And that was one thing I told Peggy this year. I said, you know what, my gifting and my niche, I really love the technology, and I can make it easy for people. And so I said, I'm going to spend more time doing that because I can bring people into my community by helping them. And so what I've developed, and we're going to be starting the first one in January, is the Blog Building Bootcamp. Now, the first thing I want to let you guys know is this is something that's not going to be for everybody. Because really what it's going to do is designed to take you from being a brand newbie to running your own blog in 30 days. So it's going to be a 30-day process. And what it's going to is it's going to install and set up your blog. It's going to give you 3 months of hosting, so it's going to be a $6 value. It's going to integrate your mailing account. It's going to have extensive training. It's also going to have some personal coaching and support. What it's going to look like is there will be, on the first week, we will be doing some detailed training on your niche, why blogging, setting up your blog, and by the end of the first week, you would know your niche and you would have your blog set up. The second week, we're going to be training on how to use your blog, how to make it look good, how to create your first blog post. The third week, we're going to talk about setting up your email list, your capture form, your lead magnet. And then the fourth week, we're going to do a training review. We're going to go over some creation strategies on content. I'm going to give you a very personal blog review. And as far as the schedule, there will be 2 webinars like this every week. One is going to be training on some of the principles, and the other one is just going to be a live Q&A where you can just get on and ask questions about, hey, I can't figure out how to get my blog to do this. Also, you would get a 30-minute coaching call, which is one-on-one each week, just to go over your specific questions so we can just take that time and work on your blog. And then also, you're going to get training videos delivered throughout the month, which is going to be for self-training and review. And at the end of it, what we're going to do is, I would kind of go through and do a review of the blog and show you all things you can do to make it better and that kind of stuff. So another thing that's going to come is going to come with a private Facebook group to get support. So anytime you need help on your blog, you can do that. And at the same time, it's going to have a built-in tribe, because what we're going to do is everybody in the boot camp, we're going to be trained to like, share, and engage with each other's content. And instead of just exposing your post to your social circles, it's going to expose it to everybody, and of course it's going to increase the visibility. Now, what's going to happen is that if once you've gone through this boot camp, you're going to have a whole completely functioning blog. You're going to know how to work it, how to create content. You're also going to be ready for the next step, because when you've got your blog done, your work's not done. Your work's just started, because really you want to do blog promotion. And what we will be doing in the 90 days following your blog is we're going to be going through a process to get 10,000 leads, because really you can go from 0 to 10,000 leads if you will go through and do the promotion and the work. Now, again, as I mentioned a moment at the very beginning of the call, this is something that's not going to be for everybody. It's going to be just for probably a few of you that are on the call. But I'm hoping all of you kind of enjoyed the thought process behind it. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about what you can do if you're interested. Then I'm going to open up for some Q&A, and then it looks like we will be done before 10, which is kind of good. But basically, if you're interested in doing this with me in February, I'm going to provide this service, and I'm going to be doing it for $600. And so this is going to be something I'm going to be repeating these boot camps. But what I'm going to do is January, for if you want to do this and kind of be with me during my very first session as I do my first boot camp, you can do it for $150. And what that's going to do is really include what you're doing is include your blog hosting, your setup, programming, everything that you need to do. It's going to include all the trainings I talked about, the personal support calls. And really the reason I'm charging for this more than anything else is because I'm going to be creating some of the content during this month that I'll be using the month ahead. But I'm only wanting to do it to people that are interested. So I knew if I did it for less money, everybody would want to do it, and we would be spending a lot of time. So really I would encourage you not to do this if you're not really interested in doing it, because you'll be just wasting your time and mine. So, but if you have been thinking about how can I go build some leads and really talk to people, not friends and family, I really want to encourage you. Also, I want to let you know I'm really only planning on doing it for 10 people. So I can do it for more later as I can scale it. But during the first time, I really only want to kind of have about 10 in our very first group. So I'm not really looking to build. So again, if you're not really excited about this, I really don't want you to do it. I really only want people that are really wanting to go out there and learn it. So I'm just gonna what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna pop over, and if you're interested, what you need to do is go to my blog. It's jimfulford.com/bootcamp. So jimfulford.com/bootcamp. When you do there, you will see a big image on the right that says buy the boot camp. It's $149. Do that, and that will get you set up. And of course, you're going to see there's only 10 of them on the blog, and when it gets to 10, it will stop. So if there are 10 people that do want to do this. So what I want to do now is I want to do a little bit of Q&A. And what I want to do first, before I open up for chatting, I thought I would give some of the folks online a chance and pop back to it. There's a little question box inside of your thing. If you can just type the question there, I'll answer that. And there's no question that's out of bounds on the thing, and it'll pop up on my Q&A screen. And then once we kind of go through those, if we've got some time left, I'll just kind of open up the phone line so you guys can chat as well. So, but anyway, that's kind of this is something that I've been doing, and the last thing I'm going to spend a lot more time this year doing, and it's something that you can grow your primary business with. You can grow a secondary business with, or you can just do it as a hobby, or you can again not do it at all. So that's kind of about it, and I really just wanted to really appreciate all you guys that joined us tonight, and I'm going to go ahead and pop on here and see what kind of questions we got. So. All right. So the first question is, how much time is it going to take? Okay, that's a good question. Well, what you're going to look at is that what you would do if you decided to do this, first of all, is you really want to commit to doing the 2 training sessions during the week, which is going to be, an hour. We'll probably do it Tuesday night for an hour and Thursday night for an hour is probably what we'll do. And so we'll want to spend the time doing the training on that. But the main thing you're going to find out is that's going to dominate the time is how often do you want to blog? Because, what I've really tried to do is I try to blog on my blog once a day, and on our other blog, on the one that Peggy works on, we really try to do that one once a week. Now, it takes a lot more time if you're going to blog every day than it does if you're going to blog once a week. So that's really going to be the big determining is how often do you want to update it, because really you're going to find out is once, I'm going to have everything set up for you, and so all you got to do is type. Now, you also want to allocate 30 minutes sometime during the week, and I'll set on my schedule just so me and you can talk privately and go through it. But that's the time frame is that we would just set up 30 minutes where we could go over just each other. So really, as far as the amount of time, you need to figure out. You need to kind of determine that it's going to cost you're going to spend a pretty good bit of time maintaining it once you get it going, because this is really going to be a marketing channel for you, and you're going to want to learn. So this isn't going to be that's the main thing. This isn't a 30-day commitment. Really, if you go through the process and you do the 30-day thing, you're going to have a blog. But if you go through that and then you never continue to post to it, you really haven't benefited from it. So really, this should be a long-term strategy. All right, so next question was, will it be 9 p.m. or later in the evening? I haven't decided yet. What I would do is between now and the New Year, I'm going to see who signs up that's interested in it. I'm going to find out what time that they want to meet. I like doing them at nighttime. That's usually what's going to be best, but I haven't got a set time yet. Here's Joe's asking, will this help me promote my book? Let's talk about that for a second. Is this the best way? What you're going to do is, even though technology and things change, one thing that does not change is marketing is still about basically getting your message in front of people. One of the things that people are trying to do more and more now is inbound marketing in addition to outbound marketing. And you're going to really, what you need to do, Joe, is you're going to want to figure out, all right, who am I going to sell my book to and how you're going to do it? And the thing about it is that, you're going to find out that you're going to want to be able to put it into stores. You're going to want to, get it into teachers. And part of what the process will go through, this really won't even be on the first part, but once we set the blog up, we will show you how to go out there and basically you will search for all the people that are the ones, the influencers, the people that can help get your book published. Those are the ones that you want to create relationships with. And those are the ones that are, and so what you'll do is you will communicate with them. You will follow the information they do. When you write something on your blog, Joe, what you would do is you would mention someone that's a publisher that's got some real influence on children's books, and you go and let them know, hey, I read your thing. I wanted to let you know that I talked about your book, that I talked about you on my blog today. And you know what he's going to do? I guarantee you he's going to tweet that out to his following. And guess what? He doesn't have 20 followers. He's got 20,000 followers. And he's going to tweet out that, hey, because they want to promote themselves. And so that's really a part of the building process. And so that's going to be absolutely one way to promote. But really what you're going to do is the best way to market anything is to create a community that really wants it and deliver what they need. And so what your job is going to be, Joe, is to figure out, and when you think about your niche, who are the people that really want this, that can't live without it? How can I communicate with them? Okay, this is from Julie. Will this be beneficial for someone wanting to start a blog for their employer's company? Well, absolutely, because you're going to find out that most blogs out there aren't ran for by one person. Most of the blogs out there, any company you go to, they're going to have many, many, many different people working on it and contributing to it. And so this is going to be a tremendous benefit. And I know which company you're talking about. And what you can do is, you and Paul are going to need to get together and really think about the niche, because this is something that can not just help him, with his marketing business. This can help him with his audiovisual business as well. Because this is something that's something that you guys could blog about and create and communicate with and start creating a tribe around that. And, of course, what that's going to be about is, guess what? How many of those people that really would be attracted to you in the audiovisual space, the contractors, how many of those people are ones that want to have some ways to make some additional money? So you're going to find many, many ways to tie into it. So it's a great question. Let's see if we got another question here. Okay, so I've answered Joe's. Okay, got Debbie's answered. Got Joe's answered. Got Julie's answered. All right, that's all the questions that I've gotten so far on the screen. Is there anyone else before I just open up and see if there's any questions or anything? All right, well, I'm going to unmute the call, and just if there's anybody who wants to chime in, just ask them questions on the line. I don't think we got too many people on the line that it's going to be too noisy. We'll see here. Oh, wow, we got lots of folks online here. Okay, so hello, everybody. How you doing tonight?
Hey, Jim.
Hey, Deb. How you doing? All right. So anyway, we got about 5-10 more minutes. Does anyone else have a question? Of course, you can definitely call me or email me offline. But I wanted to go ahead and see if there's any particular questions, because I know that some of you guys that's already got blogs, and you may want to know how this works if you've already got a blog. Others of you don't know anything about this at all. You want networks, and so I'll be glad to take your questions offline as well. But do anybody just want to ask any questions before I close the call tonight?
Yeah, this is Craig. With doing a blog, and I don't know this why I didn't type it in because I'm fumbling right here. How do I tie it into one of the products with Shackley, the business opportunity, or how would that work? In other words,
that's a good question, and let me give you a real specific example. We've got a blog, nutritionplusme.com, and that blog is all about Shackley. Every article mentions Shackley. Every product that mentions Shackley, and every link points back to our website. It's got it all over the place. And really what we're doing is because there's people on Google that want to come in and search and find stuff about Shackley, and we're educating them more than other people, and so those people are coming to us. And so that's a way that we use the blog to build the business. On the other hand, if you look at jimfulford.com, that's my blog, there's no businesses mentioned at all, because really my niche is going to be helping people do technology stuff. And, that's really what I want to help them with. And I don't really care what company they work with, if they work with a company or not, or if they're like Joe and they just want to promote a book or they're a business. I can help them with that. And what that's going to do is I'm going to provide solutions for them. And some of them are going to call me and say, you know what? I need a business. My business isn't working out so good. Tell me about yours. And so that will happen as well. But again, on that instance, on my instance there, I wouldn't even mention the business at all. So it really depends on your niche. I mean, we got folks on the phone. So, for example, like Linda, for example. Linda is a breast cancer survivor. She knows all about that, and there are sites all over the internet that really people want to know about that. Those are communities that she can join and interact with people and hang out with, and they're going to come to her and ask questions, and she's got a tremendous amount of credibility there. She's got passion around that subject. And so, when she decides that she wants to give them health advice, they're going to listen to her, or when she's got someone that she's helped out in other ways, and when she wants to talk to them about the business, they're going to listen to her because she's got credibility and authority. And so for you, Craig, what you'll want to spend some time doing is, the blog that you create may have nothing to do with the business. It may just have to do something that you're passionate about, that you're good at, got skills at. And then, you could be doing blogging about, what to do about when you lock your keys in your car, because you got knowledge on that. Well, guess what? People are going to go in, they're going to find out, and guess what? When you help them out, then you're going to be able to talk to them about other things as well, because, if you look, Peggy had a great thing she showed me today. She showed me this thing that was 10 top New Year's resolutions that people are making, and all 10 of them, Shackley has a solution for. And so really what you're looking for the people with your blog is you're looking for people that are listening to what you say. You're looking to create an audience, and then you can determine how the best way to message it and whether you want to integrate Shackley in it or not. That's always going to be something that you're going to have there to offer them as a solution, because that's really the whole goal from this is to generate leads. But you're going to be able to generate a lot more leads, bringing people in with something they want than trying to force it down their throat and chasing them.
Right. Another question: how do blogs get named? I mean,
that's a great question. What you need to do, and that'll be one of the first things we cover. But really, you want to just come up with whatever name makes sense to you and is available on GoDaddy or things. So, for example, when we set your blog up, it's just going to have a temporary name, and then you do. So, if your niche is super fishing vacations, then blog might be super fishing vacations. So so your blog name needs to be kind of surrounded about what the blog is about. Now, take a look at my blog. My blog is named Jim Fulford. Why? Because what I'm branding is myself. That's really what people are looking for. What they're buying when they're buying is they're buying my expertise, and so there's nothing wrong with just having your blog with your own name in it, because that's really you're branding yourself. So really, it's going to depend on your blog.
Okay. Yeah.
Those are good questions, Craig. All right. Anyone else? We've got lots of folks on the line, more than I expected tonight.
I have a question.
Somebody invited people that I didn't invite. That's okay. It's a classic game. So.
I have a question.
Hey, Rebecca, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, great.
When you said tribe and having people share, I think that's a great idea. I love it when people share my posts. I always wonder, though, about, other Shackley people sharing my posts, and I've been emailed before that, somebody's friend will then use my link to buy something, and they have to get it all fixed through Shackley. And so I'm wondering, I can have Pamela share for me because she benefits from it, and that makes sense. But who would you suggest be your core 5 to 10 people that you ask to share?
Well, that's a good question. Let's talk about that because, I was talking to Tony about this even before the call. We were talking yesterday about this because really, when you look at it, I'm not looking to go out there and work with other Shackley Crossline members to do this in any way because, I'm going to be creating competition. But on the other hand, let's suppose that you're talking and, let's suppose that your tribe is, let's suppose that your niche is, for example, is MS. I mean, you've got MS, right? And there's a lot of people that they're always coming to you for that information. Well, when you write up about MS, and let's suppose that you're part of our little group, and Craig's one of your members, and he's the cost line to you, Craig's not going to have any concern about putting, hey, here's a great article about MS that my friend so-and-so wrote, because you know what? If he's got a customer out there that's got MS, they're going to be much better served by working with you than they are with Craig. Because, so really if you're out there just kind of generally promoting business opportunity and stuff, you're right. You really wouldn't want to have people that were competing with you, because that's going to be frustrating for you, and you're always going to think they're stealing your people. But if you're getting specialized and you're out there doing it, which really getting people to communicate your post, and again, you're going to have people like Pamela and myself upline to you that are going to want to do it. But if you got something that is going to be really outside of my niche, guess what? You're really not looking for my friends. You're looking for the friends of my friends. And that's really what it's about. It's getting the name out there. So, and you're going to find out, because I can guarantee you, if I'm cross-lined to you, happen to be in, I see something of yours, and I look at that and say, I'm not going to share it if it's something I think would be something I wouldn't want my friends to see, or benefit me. Right. So, that's kind of something that takes care of itself, because people should naturally share things that they like and they want to share. Because, and if you think about you, Rebecca, when you go through the things that you look and share on your Facebook or post or things or with anybody, you really think these are things that I share this because it makes me look good, because it makes me more of an authority. And so you're going to have the same type of thing when you're looking. You're only going to want to be sharing things that you also think are going to be giving you credibility as well. So so it is something, an issue, but it's something that kind of, it takes care of itself, as long as you let it. So good question, though. But I'm glad you tied in, because one thing that, I really would encourage you to do is, because you got a great blog already, but at the same time, you really don't have it set up, optimized for conversions. So there's a lot of people come to your site, but you don't know who's going to come there, because you don't have we need to make sure, we get even a better mechanism for that that's going to make them, give you their name, their email, their phone number, that type of stuff. So
my old one had that. I'm writing my opt-in right now. It's literally open as we speak. We're writing a cleaning guide, and I have all these awesome pictures and blah, 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 and people are excited about it. Like, people thought I was selling the guide, which is really cool. So that'll be in the header as well as on the sidebar, plus pinned to the top of my Facebook page and in both my cover photos.
Awesome. You go, girl. And that's exactly what you want to. That is exactly what you want to do, is give them something like that. That's good. And then, and then again, there's nothing wrong with you. If you once you do your cleaning guide, down the road, what you may want to do is come up with like an e-course, something that's 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 steps that you got to deliver, and then have that as another opt-in to go out there as well, because there'll be more people that they'll even opt into an e-course than they will opt into your cleaning guide and stuff. And so, but that's phenomenal. So, but I'm glad you're moving in that direction. That's great. So.
Thanks.
All right. Well, it's 10 o'clock. Any last questions before we close the call?